Hi, welcome back to my channel and thanks for clicking on this video. I want to be a little bit more informational in this and talk more about how I was able to flip the switch on my body image, my body dysmorphia, and ultimately how I view myself overall. Growing up, I've always felt inadequate in some way, shape, or form. I've always felt like the fat, ugly one, whether it was within my group of friends, peers at school, my own family. You know, I have one older sister who has never had any problems with her weight or anything like that, and now that I look back at it and I realize how negatively I was talking to myself, it does make me sad, but then also it makes me really grateful because I'm able to reflect and able to change my thinking, which is what I mean by flipping the switch. About last year, I had a moment where I tried on some clothes and, you know, one thing wouldn't fit. Then I go to the next thing, it didn't fit. I quickly realized, like, wait a minute, these clothes used to fit me no problem, and I already felt fat and inadequate when I would wear those. Now this means that I am super fat. You know, kind of the distorted thinking that doesn't make any sense, but we all do it. A negative voice in our head that really does not have the best interest at heart. If you're struggling with your body image, you really have to separate from the voice that's in your head, because it's not you and those thoughts are not yours. The things that the voice tells you about other people or even about yourself when you see yourself in the mirror, they're just thoughts and they're not yours. And I'm not a master at this, like, I'm learning, obviously. I'm 24, I don't have anything figured out. This is just my personal experience and what I've been through. If this can help you or give you some kind of better understanding into what people with body dysmorphia go through, then I'm happy with that. When I was about 14, 15, I lost a lot of weight. That is when my distorted body image really took off. You know, I feel sad for that girl. I feel sad for anybody going through that, because it's not an easy transition to go through, going from yo-yo dieting, diet culture. That's a huge reason too why I felt like I wasn't good enough, is because when I was growing up, goal was to be extremely slim, thin, and have big boobs. Needless to say, what we grew up with, seeing, watching, if you're like the same age as me or whatever, it was all very much like, need to be skinny, restrict your calories, only cardio, don't lift any weights, because lifting weights is for guys. So fast forward to last year when nothing was fitting me, and I like realized it, because you don't realize you gain weight until you're confronted with it. Like, I didn't realize that I gained so much weight, or as much weight as I did gain, until I put on those clothes. Was really unhappy with how my face looked because all the fat went into my face. I was really hard on myself, and I went through a period of depression, which now I can look back and say that's most likely what it was. Like, I'm self-diagnosing myself, but I know that that's most likely what it was. Obviously last year, like, I think we all had depressive periods. Like, last year wasn't easy on anyone. I'm not saying that, oh my god, I gained weight. When I got to the point of like, nothing fits me, wow, I am super fat, like this monster, then I went through old pictures, and I remember how I felt like in these pictures back when I took them, and it'd be always like, you know, oh, I don't like this, I don't like how my arms look, I don't like how my midsection looks, my stomach's not flat enough, I don't have any boobs, I don't like how my face looks, my teeth are fucked up. And last year when I felt so like low and I really hated the fact that I put on this much weight, and I knew it was from all of like my bad habits. I was binge eating because I was so unhappy with myself, and then drinking so much because I just didn't really want to sit with those feelings, and I didn't want to accept the fact that I just completely fell off the wagon and got to a really lazy point in my life where I felt like I was a complete failure and nothing was going for me, and you know, I just felt like a loser, which I think is normal to feel that way too. It's just not good to stay in that state of mind for too long. Looking back at the pictures, you know, I realized, wow, I was actually so beautiful and skinny slim to me that I couldn't believe how hard I was on myself back then, like a few years ago. You know, looking at those pictures now, I'm just like, it was almost instant switch that flip. So it is kind of crazy that I started to realize, and I like almost healed my body dysmorphia overnight, because I realized, wait a minute, this is what I actually looked like. This is what I looked like, and I was so unhappy with myself, and I felt like I wasn't good enough, and all these things in my head that just poisoned my thinking, and I listened to that voice in my head all the time, and that's where it got me. You know, it got me to a point where I never felt good enough no matter what. So it's like, if I didn't feel good enough being 130 pounds and, you know, slim, I'm never gonna feel like I'm enough when I gained 20-30 pounds. And I realized, wow, like what was I doing to myself and my mind and my well-being, and just like my quality of life was diminished. Like I don't think I had very much quality of life, and that's why I turned to alcohol and really just like began my unhealthy pattern with drinking too much. So to tie this back into the body dysmorphia, you know, any person struggling with body dysmorphia, or maybe you've struggled with it in the past and it's not as prevalent anymore, it's mostly because of, you know, the things you're consuming online, the people you're hanging around with, the people in your family, this unhealthy obsession with like what other people look like and what they talk about can really lead to depression, which is what happened to me. And I see this directly. I mean, it's like I am a living example of someone who went through this bad cycle, and all these things like actually did happen to me, and luckily I can reflect back on it now and realize like how fortunate I am just to have all my limbs, to be able to work out, jump, run, squat, I mean lift some weights. Like, you have to get back into gratitude and really just have some empathy for yourself. Talk to yourself like you would talk to someone that you care about. There's already so much toxic, like low vibe energy in the world. You might as well speak to yourself kindly and be able to control that. Easier said than done. So what do you have to do to kind of get on the right path with this body dysmorphia, distorted thinking type of stuff, and really heal that body image issue that you've created or manifested in your head because other people told you things? And number one is have some empathy for yourself and try to find some positivity in what you're going through. You also need to come to terms with your current situation. It will be hard to accept this, and it was hard for me. Like, I definitely didn't want to accept that I got as quote-unquote fat as I did. I gained as much weight as I did. You're not fat. You have fat. So having that association of calling yourself fat is never good for you, and it's never the solution. More so thinking of it as, okay, I gained some weight, the world's not ending. I mean, if you're still healthy and happy, do you even need to lose weight? It's not like you gained weight, you just got to a healthy weight, and maybe a weight that you're supposed to be at. Changing your thinking when it comes to this is gonna be huge, a huge game changer. After you accept your current situation, it'll be so much easier to move forward. I accepted it and I was like, okay, let's do this. I'm actually enroll into a really strict or like intense boot camp training routine. That's how I started F45. Geez, I love F45. It's so amazing that if you can find some boot camp that you can do, if you have a friend who's ready to work out with you, or even just following a program at home. All these YouTube influencers have lots of programs that I know are successful and great, and I would encourage you to pick something and just stick to it for a little bit, even if it's boot camp, even if it's swimming, even if it's walking. Like, just stick to something. Consistency is the biggest thing. And once you're in the maintenance stage of like, okay, I am gonna feed my mind positive things, positive thoughts, I am going to take care of my body, I'm gonna go work out, I'm gonna make healthier choices. I'm not saying diet. The word diet is so like ugh, like none of you should ever try to quote unquote diet. It's not a diet. If you want to lose weight and be healthier, it's gonna be a part of your life. It's gonna be a lifestyle. But once you are in this state of mind where you are taking accountability and making better choices, maybe, you know, cutting out alcohol or any other bad habits that are holding you back, you are in what is called the maintenance stage, and this takes about 6 months, and usually people will relapse. So it's really important to have people you can talk to have a group that you may be a part of, like on Facebook or, I mean, any other social media. Have some kind of community that you can go to if you are starting to fall off track or you're starting to be a little too hard on yourself again, because it's not going to happen overnight. You will still have thoughts of like, oh, I'm fat and I don't look good in this, and like I still have those, but I am able to control them a little better, and I'm able to really distinguish, like, this is actually not my thought, this is that voice in my head, because that voice in my head is like the enemy and it doesn't want me to succeed in anything that I do. It's really all gonna come down to daily effort. Every time you pass by the mirror, notice the thoughts that come up in your head and maybe try to steer them a little. Telling yourself things such as, I gained some weight and that's okay. The world's not ending. I'm still happy. I'm still a beautiful human inside and out. I don't need to prove anything to anybody. Don't care what people say, whether it's online or people in your family or your peer group, people at school, like whatever. I don't care what people say. I am gonna do this for me. I know this is good for me. Just because I gained weight doesn't mean that I can't find love, that I can't have great time at a party, that I have to miss out on things that other people are doing just because I put on, I don't know, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds. I mean, the important thing is you want to have a body that carries you through life. So you want to be healthy. Of course, I don't think anybody wants to be obese and like have health problems to where it impacts your everyday life, but everybody is on a different journey, and no matter where you are exactly where you're meant to be. You will overcome this just like you have overcome many things, I'm sure, many struggles, many toxic things in your life. This is not the end of the world. So realizing that your weight does not affect your worthiness is an important thing to realize, and it won't happen overnight. Like I said, this will be a daily effort type of thing, but that's how I've really been able to overcome this distorted thinking, what I call body dysmorphia. Because now, even though that I am still not goal-wise where I want to be, and I don't weigh myself, so I have no idea how much I weigh or how much like I want to weigh, I'm happy with how I look, and I actually feel way more sexy and attractive than I did when I was younger. And this might be because of age, and you know, I've been through some things and it made me grow up a little bit and humble myself, and yeah, I just feel way better about myself than I did when I was 20 pounds lighter, 30 pounds lighter. I don't even know how much I weighed at that point. I hope this video brought you some insight, helped you a little bit, maybe just to not feel so alone, because I definitely know what it's like. It's hard, and I feel for you, and it's hard when you go through it and you kind of have no support, or you feel like there's no support out there. So, and with working out more consistently and really being serious about, I'm gonna make a change, because I hit a wall like last year, you know, when I realized that I want to enroll in like a boot camp and do all these, like, be consistent with my workouts and stuff. I was still drinking though, so that kind of hindered my progress. I hit a wall. I've done this where I would try to restrict calories and diet, and it just never worked for me. It never worked for me. I could never stick to anything. Consistency is a huge thing, and I lacked that so much. It also comes down to your willpower and self-discipline. Once you fail 1, 2, 3 times too many, or even more than that, I probably failed 20 times before I hit a wall and I was like, enough is enough. I'm doing this. I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna change my body. Another kind of wall that I hit was about 10 weeks ago, when I just realized I can't drink Like, it makes me do the worst things. It turns me into a different person, and I don't want to be that person. I gave up alcohol, and it's been such a beautiful difference and a journey. And I think I've really seen the most progress within these past 10 weeks because I cut alcohol out of my lifestyle, for now at least. If that is you and you're drinking excessively, because I definitely was, you know, like 8 drinks a night, it was excessive. There's a problem there, and you should probably reevaluate why you drink so much. Overcoming body dysmorphia is not easy, but you can do it.